10 Things I Hate About You is obviously not the same as Taming of the Shrew, but in the act of adaptation, it shows us some of what people still like, what the creators still like and treasure about Shakespeare's play, and some of what makes us uncomfortable, what we don't want to do at all. Is this an adaptation of Taming the Shrew? I would suggest this is primarily an adaptation of the first two acts of Taming of the Shrew, and that the core Catherine and Petruchio relationship is replaced by something that we are more comfortable with. It's worth noting that this film is written by two women, the screenwriting team of Karen McCullough and Kirsten Smith, also known for Legally Blonde, which they do just a couple years after this, and for a later Shakespeare adaptation, She's the Man, which is an adaptation of Twelfth Night. And the director is Gil Junger, who this is his first feature film after a career working in TV. So the visuals are not really the star here. This is a highly competent. There are a few nice shots. There are a few nice shots that I think, oh, that's a very nice shot. That's very well put together. Younger did good work that day, but I didn't assign this film because of the cinematography per se. It's not Orson Welles. It's not Olivier on his A game. It's not Kurosawa. It's also like TV in that the writer is kind of king. This is very script centric. And if this isn't Shakespeare, the characters in this play, in this film, pardon me, speak a fairly elevated language. Everybody in this high school is about to absolutely destroy the verbal section of the SAT or ACT, right? This is where the not as bright characters say things like, you can be overwhelmed and you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever be just whelmed? Those are the not as smart kids. So everyone in this cast is hyperverbal. We have nods directly to Shakespeare. It is a teen comedy. Of course, they are assigned Shakespeare's sonnets in class. Kat has a sidekick who is obsessed with Shakespeare, not as much as she was in the original script. In the shooting script, she's calmed down a little bit, but who wants to cosplay as Shakespeare's date for the prom. And we have a direct lift from Tame of the Shrew, not a Catherine line, not a Petruchio line, but a Lucentio line. I burn, I pine, I perish. Our boy Cameron, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, says that line that comes from his equivalent character in Tame of the Shrew. It comes from, hi, we have cats visiting us today and moving my camera around. Good work. Good work. Camera work. Could I get a pan? Could I get a zoom? Come on, cat. These are quick-witted kids. There's an emphasis on speed. The cutting and editing is allowed to allow the characters in real time to respond to each other's lines very quickly, deliver their punchlines quickly and efficiently. There's a reason for a longer take because you're doing punchy comedy. This is the genre. This is Shakespeare translating the genre of teen comedy, which has its own rules. Teen comedy is about misfits trying to get ahead in the rigid social stratification of American high schools as they're imagined. All the normal social stratification turns into what happens in high school, and the happy ending is leaving here. Now, this is the woman's eye view of things. Petruchio is not going to be master. Petruchio might be masterful. Patrick wins by being sensitive. After that, we have the banter that we like from the beginning of the Catherine and Petruchio relationship, but it's followed up. By an increasing an increasing emphasis on intimacy, on trust, on taking emotional risks. That comes from the romantic comedy tradition. But hey, the romantic comedy tradition takes Shakespeare's comedies as one of its key ancestors. So they're not really going off record there. If Shakespeare's Catherine and Bianca are always in competition, this movie is about Kat and Bianca becoming allies again, finally getting over it and getting together. If Shakespeare's play is about Baptista just wants to get his daughters married off and off his hands, here the father is ultimately an ally who appreciates Kat, and who is willing, and the happiness here is not that she gets married, but that she goes off to a fancy college on the East Coast. Spoilers. Um, there's one more Shakespeare reference, and it's subtle. There's a song we hear twice. It's Nick Lowe's "Cruel to Be Kind," which we hear first on a radio, and then we see performed by in the cover by Letters for Cleo. Letters for Cleo plays the same cover when the happy couple, Catherine and Patrick, are in their car listening to on the radio. It cuts off before the phrase from Hamlet, "You have to be cruel to be kind," is in this pop song, and then at prom we hear the lead singer of Letters for Cleo delivering it straight up to our leads, cause it's a movie. We like the first two acts better than the last five acts. We don't like the torture. We don't like the starvation, any of that. And we don't get it this time. Instead, we get the wit, which we like. We get love conquering all our love, conquering most, or we get wordplay. We get and we get a different villain. This screenplay slightly reshuffles the roles of Hortensio, Patricio's buddy, and Tranio slash Cambio, who is Lucentio's servant and sidekick. There is a third woman. There's an equivalent for the widow. That is here, Mandela, the Shakespeare fangirl, who ends up not with Joey, the Hortensio figure, but with Michael, the Tranio person, the Tranio equivalent, and who gets the girl too. Part of the part of the DNA of the teen comedy is that the worst people in the world are not your parents. The comedy tradition Shakespeare inherited had the parents as the main blocking element, and he evolves past that. But initially, it's the parents are the ones who are stopping the young couple from getting together. We have to get around dad, and you still see some of that in Taming of the Shrew, parts of which are pretty early in Shakespeare's career. Teen comedy suggests that the worst human beings in the world are actually in your homeroom, that there are other kids, that there has to be another kid who's the villain, who's the scapegoat. Here we have my man Joey, the Hortensio figure as male, as laughable male model, who's notably not just mean and shallow, but doesn't have as much vocabulary as freshman Bianca has. He doesn't know the word pensive. He's not the boy for her, not in this screenplay. But it's the bad guy always has to be someone in your high school because it's somebody you can get rid of at graduation.